Hello, this is Seamless, and today we're going to go over how to do Vocodex bass, as seen in various things I've posted and alluded to in the past in other videos. So, vocoding, what is that? It sounds like this. Yeah. Vocoding is a carrier modulator relationship, not unlike FM synthesis, where you have a carrier sound and a modulator sound, and the modulator sound changes to carrier sound based on its characteristics and stuff. It's a very terrible definition. I honestly suggest that if you want to learn more cool things about vocoding, that you read the manual. That's right. I'm going to show you a very quick and very specific trick and tool tips and nice fun things about how to do what you just heard here. So let's do that. First of all, how do you set this up? You take your carrier sound, which is usually a synth-based sound, synth bass in this case if you're actually doing bass with it, and some kind of vocally thing. Right now I'm using, actually I'll just show you what they sound like on their own without vocoding. This is what the modulators sound like.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know what those are these samples.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which are already there if you own FL Studio 10. Or 9 and 8. I don't remember when they ended that, but they're there. This is what the carrier sounds like. That is an FM bass, FM style bass. It's actually a preset I made when I first discovered what FM was and how it worked. As such, it's terrible. It sounds bad. It's just painful, sharp, and brutal, which are all characteristics that seem to work very well as vocoder carriers. It just adds that definition, or something. I'm not really sure why. I just found that it does. I also found that if you modulate the frequency modulation of the FM bass, along with the vocal events, it tends to accent things better. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Anyway, so you open up a channel, a mixer insert, and you pull out a Vocodex. I'm actually going to open a new one, so we can do this from scratch. Yeah. I'm going to turn off draft because my CPU is boss. Anyway, I have labeled these two inserts carrier and modulator. You put them into individual channels, and then you route them into the vocoder like so. Now, in the vocoder, you tell it which one is what by the order in which they go into the vocoder. So 1 and 2. So the carrier is the first one in, and the modulator is the second one in. So carrier and modulator. You can also click on this and have left-right encoding, and what that means is that if you do this, it'll tell which one is the carrier, which one is the modulator, by which is the left and which is the right. That was how the old vocoder worked before Vocodex was the thing. So this is what it sounds like, just bleh. Yeah, and with the FX enabled. So already we have that watery sort of default vocoder sound that no one seems to like. How do we deal with that? Primarily by messing with the bandwidth. In here, in this window, we have order. It's the first thing I'm going to draw attention to. The farther over here it goes, that's the more towards the modulator sound. The farther over here we go, is the more towards the carrier sound. I like to keep it at 2. I just do. I just like it. Now, this is the bandwidth. Now watch this and listen. See how that works? Very cool stuff. This is similar to the order thing. It's the bandwidth multiplier, modulator bandwidth multiplier. So over here is more towards the carrier, and over here is more towards the modulator. Moving all this around makes for just endless possibilities of tonal coolness. So much so that I actually linked this to the automation clip you saw in there earlier. Cool stuff. This is a pitch shifter. I mean, I could have just not pitch shifted these samples and just used that if I wanted to, but I didn't. Now, Note that we got to where we did just here right now without doing anything really complicated. But you can do things that are really complicated. A lot of them I'm not very good at because I've only really just started to get into this with any kind of seriousness. So really, if you want to learn all the coolness that this embodies, which is a whole hell of a lot, you should read the manual. Or actually, there's a couple actual tutorials on the FL website or YouTube somewhere about these. I know there are, because in the manual they link to them. So there you go. I will, however, draw attention to this down here, the bandwidth drop-down line editor. What this does is it allows you to control what part of the spectrum has what width of what band. You could just do some seriously cool stuff with that. But not in this video. Ha! Alright, so that's the basics. That's the basic. You got your bass carrier, you got your vocal modulator, you put them in a vocoder, and you just go and do, and then you'll discover how things work. Really, it's not that deep. It's pretty deep. You can make it deep. You can make it deep. That's what that is. So one last thing. This is a project that I worked on in How to Bass 2 Bass Harder. It's gone a little bit farther. However, the reason I'm showing it to you is because it is a cool application of the Vocodex bass numerous times. I'm going to show you these right now in this first half of the drop. Now, pay attention here. Oh boy. Here. A little bit there. A little bit there. I'll try and zoom in and you'll see the names of the samples and stuff like that. Anyway, here you go. Fun stuff.